this past like 5 years has been rough on the entertainment
Yeah.
industry. You had the pandemic, and then right after that, you had two major union strikes with
Yep.
SAG-AFTRA and the WGA. Like it was very intense. We felt the pressures. You saw the streaming boom, and then now you're seeing these streaming services pull back. Like it's been a very crazy year. And then like you have incentives going away, incentives that you think are going to benefit films in certain locations, but then end up not. You have filmmakers who are just completely turning their heads away from the entertainment industry to pursue normal day jobs rather than
Yeah.
continue to try to pursue the passion. It has been a very crazy time because you and myself, like, we had some friends that have been on this specific podcast that are no longer in the entertainment industry anymore because of the last 5 years of the
Right.
economics of everything, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the I think the general misconception, we've talked about this a lot on the show before, but we can never talk about it enough. I think the general misconception by the public is that everybody's an RDJ. Everybody's a Tom Cruise or a Julia Roberts or a Scarlett Johansson. No. 99.8% of the industry work job to job, day to day. And if something happens to shut that down, they are at real financial risk. They're living project. We say paycheck to paycheck, right? That's what the normal man says. But they live project to project, even
Mm-hmm.
when everything's rocking and rolling. And this isn't an industry where you're guaranteed when one project's done, you're right on to another one. Sometimes you have to go stretches of months at a time in between work. And the reality of the situation is that, sadly, that not a lot of people can sometimes maintain that, and they have to leave the industry because they have to feed themselves or feed their families so yeah, it's that misconception, I think, is boldly wrong by the majority of people who look at the entertainment industry and consider them rich brats or spoiled or like pampered or like. It's less than 1% of the people in our industry that are wealthy, like
Yeah.
uber wealthy like that. And I think, and this is nothing against Variety or the trades or anything, but like when you see a story in Variety that we saw this week about how Robert Downey Jr.'s made $500 million off like 3 Marvel
Yeah.
movies, and he's going to make somewhere between 80 and 100 million just for Doom.
Yeah.
That plays into everybody thinks everybody in Hollywood is rich, and who cares if they go on strike? Who cares if they do that? So, I think maybe we need to do a little bit better job and be a bit more responsible of how we present the industry in whole. I mean, that's a factual story, but in whole, that is a misguided presence out there for the people that are looking at it going, well, everybody's rich. No.
Yeah, exactly. This is the biggest actor on the biggest franchise. Like, of course he's going to be on top of the world.
Right.
Like, and yeah, it's just crazy to have that many people talking about how much a certain person makes. It makes me feel gross. That's one thing that I don't like about the entertainment industry is that everybody's salaries is basically public knowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it does make me feel gross when there are publications and there are media outlets that do talk about people's pay. And, that brings up a lot of conversation about equal pay between genders and different roles and things like that, experience. So, yeah, it's always a sticky situation when it comes to money instead of thinking about the art. So, yeah, it's weird.
And our industry is like every other industry on the face of the planet when it comes to male, female. Males have
Yeah.
always been historically paid more than females for whatever reason. It's like, the entertainment industry is not immune to that situation. It's getting better, but it's still got a long ways to go. And sadly, that's just the name of the game. That's the way it is. I will say, though, to the credit of, and you want to give credit where credit is due, a lot of these A-listers understand how it looks that they get so much money and stuff, and have stepped away from that. I want people to know that a lot of these A-listers no longer get paid for movies. They take back-end points instead of money up front. And that's a risk, because if the movie bombs, they basically don't get paid. And you know, when they put in that type of an effort on a big movie, when you're an A-lister and you're spending, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time, maybe longer if you've got to go back for ADR or pickup shots or whatever, and then you don't make a dime off of it, that's a huge risk. But to their credit, a lot of A-listers are now doing that. Now, to be fair, the upside, if the movie becomes a hit, you make a ton of money off those back-end points. But it's rare, you know, to make a substantial amount of money off back-end points in today's climate. And that's the reason I brought it up, because we all know the money isn't always there in today's box office. So it is a risk to say, I'm not going to take a salary, I'm going to take some points on whatever the profit is at the box office. Well, you know, I mean, that's good for them. That's a risk, and sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it doesn't.